Hey guys, Chad here with the Reptile Rangers. Now check this out guys, we're at the Colonelsville Reptile Zoo today. We're going to do something a little bit different, okay? Now, we do a lot of school educational shows all over the eastern seaboard. And a lot of the times we'll do what we call all-day shows. Well, when we do that, sometimes we don't necessarily have enough time to answer each individual child's question. This being the case the other day, we did a school presentation. It was all day long. We did the whole elementary school. We did them class by class. And one of the things that we had happen was a certain grade level was running a little bit behind getting in, and then we were running a little bit behind getting them done. And one of the things I told them to do, I said, you know what, since I don't have time to answer each one of your questions that you have at the moment, I said, I want you to write your questions down and we're going to make a YouTube episode out of it. So here we go. All right, now, no, I'm not going to tell you what school it is because it don't matter what school it is. And obviously for privacy's sake, that's a privacy thing for the kids. But we're going to go through and I'm going to answer these questions here. And I'm going to give the child's first name. I told them to give me their first name only, and that way, at least the parents and the kids, when they go and they watch this, they'll be able to know who their kid was and what question they answered. And I'm answering that child's question specifically. So let's do this. Now I'm going to have the family come in on some of this. They're going to help me answer some of these questions. I'm going to answer some of them. Sebastian's going to help me here on a couple of specific questions. And then of course Christina and Bailey, and they're going to answer some of the questions as well. We're going to answer it as a family. So anyways, right now, let's take off. This is answering kids' questions from a school. All right. Now, I have not seen these questions, okay? I have not, so I have no clue what these kids are asking. So this is going to be just as much fun for me as it is for you. All right, now, let's see what we got. Okay, so I got the first one here, and little fella's name is Ray. He says, how many types of alligators are there? That's a good question, Ray. You know what? There are two types of alligators on the planet, the American alligator and the Chinese alligator. All right, that answers Ray's questions. All right, so we're going to put this up here. Okay, so the next one is Nathan. He says, how does it feel to run a business? That's a little bit more of a loaded question. It gets a little bit more into an adult answer. It's a lot of fun to run a business. It can be a lot of headache because you're not always guaranteed a paycheck. You're not always guaranteed that money's going to come in day by day. One of the hardest things that we deal with as far as running a business, especially in this industry, I have to deal with more morons inside of my own industry than I do that don't know anything about reptiles. All of the experts, especially the ones on Facebook, love those. A bunch of idiots. But running a business is awesome, especially if you're doing it the right way, okay? In this type of industry, when you're talking about dealing with animals, the animals come first. We're trying to be advocates for something. We're trying to be educators for something. We're trying to be a voice for something that does not have one. That's the whole purpose to the zoo. That's the whole purpose to bringing animals out to the school and giving the education, being able to allow you to see things that most people only ever see on a TV screen. So running a business is awesome. It's not all that everybody thinks it's cracked up to be, but being able to be independent is an absolutely wonderful thing. It's an amazing thing. Great question. All right. Next, I believe this is Margaret or Margaret. I cannot decipher on this one. All right, so the question here is, where do you get the animals? Okay, so there's a lot of parts to this question, okay? One, we are a holding facility for 2 states. So we do work with 2 states in, if there's actions or if something happens or something goes on, then they will bring us and we'll hold animals pending, maybe court cases pending, maybe dispositions of relocation. There's a lot of reasons that can happen. We're also one of the literal largest reptile-only medical centers in the United States. So, I mean, we get a lot of medical cases brought into us. Animals can come from being hit in the wild like turtles and snakes, things like that. We also get owner surrenders from California, Maine to Florida. People just can't keep their reptiles or amphibians anymore, and they'll come from all over the country and drop them off to us. So we get our animals from a lot of different areas, a lot of different reasons, a lot of different cases. Hopefully that helps you. And we have a lot of reptiles for sure, but that's where we get them from most of the time. We do some breeding. And that gives us a chance to be able to renew some of our personal stock. But breeding is very, very little of the amount of the animals that come in. Most of it comes in through surrenders or medical cases, seizures, turnovers, whatever the case may be. Okay. All right. Next question. This is from Valaya. How many colors can pythons be? Okay, so how many? I think I understand what she's asking. So it's going to depend on the species of pythons, but let's talk about ball pythons. Let's use them for example. Ball pythons, there's over 5,300 different colors, and it's called morphs, color morphs, in the genetics that play a part in ball pythons. Okay, there's anything from simple genetics and simple morphs up to what we call 5 and 6 and even potentially 7 gene animals, meaning there's 7 different colors all crammed into one. But at the moment, there's over 5,300 different colors of just ball pythons, okay? Okay, next question is from Abigail. Abigail wants to know, how many species of pythons are there on the planet? Well, Abigail, as of right now, there are 41 different species of pythons. That's a lot, huh? All right. Good question. Next question. All right, this is from Nile, I believe it's said. Now, what was the first reptile you ever saw? It's a good question because I was a small kid at the time. I would imagine probably something between a turtle and an alligator. Kind of to answer another question, how did I fall in love with reptiles as a kid? Went to Florida like a lot of people do. Got to do what I'm doing now. And go to an alligator farm, and I got to hold an alligator with a big snake around my neck and get my picture taken, and I was hooked. Of course, I always liked watching watching reptiles on TV, things like that. But what the very first one I ever saw, I cannot answer that question because I can't remember that far back. As far as which one was the very first specific reptile that I ever seen, but I would imagine it would have either been the cobra or the alligator. And outside of a TV screen. Now, on a TV screen, obviously, the cobra was probably one of the first things because cobras are well loved and people enjoy watching them and seeing them a whole lot more. So they're on TV a whole lot for sure because of the way that they display. But as far as the very first one, turtle or alligator, I would imagine. All right, good question. Okay. Next question. This is from Owen. Did you catch a reptile and keep it? Yes. Any of us in this industry have always caught a reptile and kept it. Maybe the black rat snake, maybe the box turtle, maybe the blue-tailed lizard that's running around outside, depending on where you're at. Maybe a bull snake, maybe the Texas horned lizard. Could be any number of things. Maybe western diamondback rattlesnake, copperhead, tortoises, aquatic turtles. A lot of people do that. Painted turtles, yellow bellies, the river cooters, Florida cooters, map turtles. There's any number of things. But yeah, we have over the years when we've removed an animal or we've seen something on our property or something like that, we might have jerked it up and taken care of it for a little while and kept it. But yes, absolutely. All right, good question. Now, next question is from Rachel. How many anacondas do you have at the zoo? Well, at the moment, Rachel, I have 0. Okay. Now, up until I think it's about 3 years ago now, I had a very, very close friend, very good friend, who bred yellow and green, both of the anacondas. I've had anacondas here at the zoo, and he bred them and had absolutely beautiful, beautiful specimens. He passed away, unfortunately, but he does not do that anymore, and there's nobody locally that I know of that breeds anacondas. They're kind of a hit or miss thing, and we don't have one here at the zoo at the moment, but we have had one. But at the moment, do we have an anaconda? The answer is no, not at the moment. Okay. All right, next question. Can you get 4 spitting cobras? And the question comes from Ben. Yeah, I could get 4 or 7 or 20 or 100 if I wanted to, Ben. Do I have any spitting cobras at the moment? No. Probably my favorite spitting cobra is the red spitter. Beautiful, beautiful cobra. But I do not have any spitting cobras in the zoo at the moment. And could I get 4 of them? Yes, I could. I could get 4 if I wanted to. All right, next question. Regan. All right, Regan has a question. Says, where did you get the idea for the reptile center or the reptile zoo? All right, so here's kind of one of the things. Most zoos, most science centers are a biodiversity of animals, which is a wonderful thing. They'll have mammals, they'll have marine life, they'll have avian, they'll have primates, they'll have reptiles. And so with doing that, they're not able to have a big variety of each one for space reasons. Now, our expertise lies solely in reptiles and amphibians. And so most zoological facilities don't go just one specific species of animal and that's all they deal with. For one, maybe they don't have the training, or maybe they don't have the facilities or the safe means of handling certain things like king cobras and black mambas, or bigger crocodiles or things like that. That's what we deal with solely, okay? So the idea for the reptile zoo came from, we wanted there to be an educational place that was strictly reptile related. Nothing but reptiles. Yes, we do have spiders, we have some scorpions, we do have some frogs and salamanders and things like that. It still kind of goes all into the same thing. But we wanted there to be a place that was solely educational based, and you could come see varieties of reptiles that you will not see in other facilities, unless it's specifically reptile related. And there are other ones throughout the country that's solely reptile related, serpentariums, other reptile zoos, reptile specific pet stores, things like that, okay? But that's where the idea come from. We've been in business for years and years and years as a medical center, and as advocates for the animals, but the idea for the zoo came from wanting to put up a educational facility that people could learn about specific reptiles and see just reptiles. Okay? Good question. All right. Next question is from Jack. What are the species of albino animals that you have now? Oh, Lord. We've got albino cobras, we've got albino geckos, we've got albino ball pythons, albino Burmese pythons. We have albino, which one, Sebastian?
The bull snake.
Yeah, the albino bull snake. All right, thank you, Sebastian. Thank you. We have had albino vipers, rattlesnakes. We've had albino turtles before. So we have quite a few different albino species. So I would say 10, 15 different types of albino species right now, just to answer your question as a number. All right, next question. All right, is Garrett. And Garrett says, why does the snake or the rattlesnake rattle his tail? Sebastian, come here. I want you to answer this one. Come here. All right, so Garrett wants to know, why does the rattlesnake rattle his tail?
It's basically used for a warning for larger people, humans or larger animals, when they're lying on their paths or their trails and they're sunbathing or getting ready to eat, something like that. It's basically used as a warning just to ward off bigger prey and to make sure that they don't get hurt or killed.
There you go. Very good. That's it. It's a simple means. Rattlesnake's tail is meant to be warning. All right. Caleb has a question here. He says, do you have any saltwater crocodiles? Caleb, the answer is no. I do not have any saltwater crocodiles. I enjoy saltwater crocodiles, but I do not have any at the moment. No, sir. All right. Alexandra. All right. How many alligators and crocodiles do you have? Now, I'm going to answer this in a two-part because I think she was trying to put two different things here. How many alligators and crocodiles are there, and how many alligators and crocodiles do I have? Now, I'll just answer the first one. How many alligators and crocodiles do I have? I have one species of crocodile. I have the American alligator, and I also have the spectacled caiman. I've got 3 of the 4 species of crocodilian that's on the planet. There are 4: alligator, crocodile, caiman, and the gharial, all right, or the gavial. Now, okay, now to answer Alexandra's other question, how many crocodiles and alligators are there? There are 13 total species of crocodilian. total, okay? There's quite a few different caiman species. Remember, we said earlier there's 2 different species of alligators, the Chinese and the American. There's several species of crocodilian, including the saltwater croc we just mentioned a while ago, the Nile crocodile. We have the American crocodile, the Morelet's crocodile, which is one of the ones that we have, also known as the Mexican crocodile. There are several species of crocodilian, and there are also several species of caimans, such as the spectacled caiman, the Yacari, the wedgehead, the smooth front, the black caiman, which is one of the larger species. So there's a lot of different species of crocodilian, okay? Now, next question. Joaquin, how long have you owned the zoo? Okay, so the zoo itself has been up and running for just over 2 years now. We started it, we opened this facility, it was February 2017. Yeah, February 2017. All right, next question. From Savannah, what's your longest animal that's lived there? Now, I'll put a picture up right after this. I'm going to show you this animal. The friend that I was talking about that passed away before, he was part of a society, a herpetological society, and they got a call to get this snake, and they brought this snake to us. The biggest snake that I've ever had was 20 foot 4 inches long, and she was about 26 inches in diameter. It was a Burmese python, okay? That's the longest one that we've ever had so far. And I'll put a picture up right after this of that with us with a tape measure out. Me and Shane, a good friend of mine, that brought them to our facility, and we'll show you that picture. Okay. All right, Alexa has a question. How many reptiles can you hold? How many reptiles can you hold? Well, you can hold any reptile you want to. It's just a matter of whether it's going to be a one-time only hold because it bites you and maybe bad things happen from there, or if it's a non-venomous reptile and you can hold it as much as you want. But I mean, you can hold anything you want to. It's just a matter of depending on how brave you are. But as far as legitimately answering the question, as far as pets, there are so many different types of reptiles that you can hold. Ball pythons, there are crested geckos, there are leopard geckos, bearded dragons, Burmese pythons. You can hold, some people will hold their spiders. You can hold certain turtles. They don't necessarily like it all the time. Tortoises, they don't like it either. You could hold them. Iguanas and tegus and monitors, and the list just goes on and on and on. There are a lot of things, yes, that you can hold. Just make sure you know what you're holding, okay? That way you don't pick up the wrong thing. All right, next question. All right, Emira, how many lizards do you have? All right, check this out, okay? We're gonna do something right here. We've got a bunch. Watch this. Right there's one. Right there's one. Right here's some little ones. These are called flat rock lizards. All right, and got one right here. Tokay gecko. And then right up here is a mountain horned lizard. And right here is a young Nile monitor. Got him a big old pen right there, doesn't he? All right, so that's just some of the species of lizards that we have. We have hundreds of different lizards right now, all different types of geckos, all different types of arboreal lizards, meaning climbing lizards, terrestrial lizards, which means the ground lizards. We have the large lizards, and we have small lizards, and we have crocodilian like Sledgehammer right here behind me. Good question. All right. Fritz, I remember this fella because one of our most popular animals we have in the zoo, his name is Fritz. It's a big sulcata tortoise that survived a house fire. We had to do all the medical work on him, and it's one that we kept as one of our personal animals whenever we were done working on him. So Fritz, this one's for you, bud. How many baby snakes do you have? That was Fritz's question. Right now, we're looking probably 100, 120, give or take, baby snakes. When everything's said and done, to include eggs in incubation, things that we have that's incubating right now. So we have a few, not many, but we have a few. All right, the next one is gray. How big is your rainforest exhibit? Well, I'll tell you what. Check this out. I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you this exhibit here real quick. All right, come on. All right, so here's the entrance to the rainforest exhibit. You hear the thunder in there? Oh, right there's a banana tree. One of your teachers loves those things. Right there's the elephant ears. Here's some birds of paradise trees. Let's see if we can find a chameleon running around in here, because we have chameleons and tree frogs running around in here. Let's see if we can find one real quick. Just real quick. Oh, yep, there's one. There's a chameleon. Right. See if I can get up to her. Right there. There's a chameleon. She'll look not too happy to see me. And let's see. Right here is a tree frog. Right there. Then we got this fountain in here. And then here's another bird of paradise. So this room right here is pretty good size. It's big enough to fit a whole family in. You can see and enjoy all the different animals that we have in here. There's another chameleon right there staring at me. Right there. All right. Good question. All right. Ellen has a question. How do snakes show they're scared? Well, the old adage of a snake biting, there's only two reasons in the world a snake will ever bite: fear and food. Now, one of the ways that they show that they're scared is by biting. The other way that they show that they're scared is by turning and running, which 9 times out of 10, they'll turn and run before they try standing their ground, because we are much bigger than they are. It's kind of a losing battle. So how do they show they're scared? They turn and run, or they bite. All right, the next question, Lucian, how many turtles do you have? Well, I'll tell you what, Lucian, let's go check this out. Come on, come with me. Let's go see what we got here. Okay, so here's a couple of my buddies. Oh, look at the musk turtle. Oh, he wants my finger. Check that out. And here's a Mississippi map turtle. And hanging out up there is an African side-neck. There's a painted in there too somewhere. Oh, yep, there it is on the back side. Right there. You can see just right there on the back side of the African side-neck. You can see the painted turtle moving. There's his head. There we go. All right, and we have alligator snappers right here. And then here's one of my cool turtles. This is the Florida softshell turtle. And then right here in the North Carolina native exhibit, we have eastern box turtle. There's another eastern box turtle right there. Oh, right there. You can see that head, and then see that head. And then there's Fritz, one of the big tortoises. Okay, so that's just some of the turtle species that we have. We do have quite a few more, but that gives you kind of a preview at some of the turtles we have here at the zoo. Good question. All right, next question. And there was no name to this one, so I cannot credit it to anybody. But do you feed your snakes mice? All right, yes, we do. Well, I'm going to kind of redefine that. Mice are not really nutritional, so we try and stay away from mice when we can. But we will feed mice, rats, rabbits, pigs, baby goats and these are already dead. Things like that when you have farmers or you have show breeders that are calling out their stock, or they're getting rid of certain things, and it's already dead. Maybe a baby goat is stillborn. Then we'll have the farmers get in touch with us and ask us if if we're interested in taking them. But we do feed all kinds of things, but mice is one of the things that we can feed. I don't like to, it's not nutritional, but we will when we need to. Good question. Okay, guys, so now I got the family here. Check this out. Next question is from Swinton. Now, this is going to be more for me and Christina, but check this out. All right, so he asked, did you like reptiles when you were a kid? For me, absolutely. I think I answered kind of a little bit of that in an earlier one from one of the other kids. As far as going to an alligator farm in Florida, I loved those things, loved holding that alligator, loved snakes, loved turtles. I grew up in farmland anyway, so I loved being in the woods and playing in the creeks and playing with the snakes and everything else. Now, I think my wife's probably going to have a little bit different answer, but we'll ask her.
No, I was not into reptiles. I didn't get into them until about 16 years ago. So I grew up on the West Coast where you don't see as many reptiles, well, when you're not into it. So yeah, no, I wasn't until now.
All right. So the next one is by Zach. He said, if you could get any pet reptile, what would it be? Any pet reptile for me probably would be the Galapagos tortoise. I mean, yes, I can get them, but it's the one that I've never had. I love hard-shelled animals. That's why I started the medical center, was for my love of hard-shelled animals, along with my wife. Now, Bailey, what kind of reptile, remember, this is reptile. What kind of reptile would you have?
A spitting cobra.
A spitting cobra. Sebastian, how about you, man?
Probably be the marine iguana.
The marine iguana. Good choice.
I love crested geckos right now, but those are just all, I've always
got
been my
plenty of them.
favorites. And I do have plenty of
You
them.
got plenty of them.
Oh, that's a hard one. I would have to go with something that's not as common. Maybe I would have to go with Sebastian on a marine iguana or a sea crate.
Sea crate. Banded sea snakes. Those are cool too. All right, good choices. Okay, next question. Charles, what is your favorite type of lizard? I can tell you mine, hands down, is the frilled dragon. Now, if you remember the very first Jurassic Park, when the heavyset guy gets out of his Jeep, goes down, and is getting ready to wrap his winch around the tree, and all of a sudden that big lizard comes out and goes, you know, kind of thing. That's my favorite. Now, they're not that big. No, they can't spit venom, but that would be my favorite type of lizard. Now, Bailey, what about you, bud?
Frilled dragon.
The frilled dragon as well. All right, Sebastian.
I'm gonna have to go with marine iguana again. They're a pretty cool little lizard.
Okay, so we got Pete and repeat here. All right.
And I'm going to be Pete and repeat too. Crested gecko is my favorite lizard.
The crested gecko. She breeds crested geckos. She loves the cresties. All right. So, Keanu here. How much animals do you have? All right. How many animals do we have? Okay. So at any time, any given time, we can have anywhere from 800 to 1,500 reptiles and amphibians between our public zoo and private facilities. That's at any given time. Okay. Good question. Now, the very, very last one. That's from Emiliana. And if you could keep any animal in the world, what would it be? Just one. She says just one now. Okay. Any animal in the world, if I could keep it, what would it be? Man, that's a hard choice because I love coatimundis. I also enjoy quite a few of the ringtails, and I mean, we have all kinds of cool stuff. But I would have to probably go with my absolute favorite animal on the planet. Anytime somebody asks me, what's your favorite reptile? I'll always tell them stingray. Stingray is my all-time favorite animal, and I am intending on getting a couple of stingrays in the near future. So I would have to say that it would be between the stingray and the cheetah. I love the cheetah as well. Bailey, your all-time favorite animal in general?
Only have one.
Only have one.
I have to pick in between the spitting cobra and the marine iguana. I would go with the marine iguana.
All-time. All right, Sebastian?
How about to say I'd have to be between probably the cheetah and then probably one of the monkeys in the monkey family.
You fit in.
Well,
No, this one fits in. All right, what about you, dear?
Kangaroo.
The kangaroo.
That way
All right, good
that way I
choice.
can watch it box the boys.
Good
that was
choice.
it.
Good choice. All right. So, guys, this is Chad, Christina, Bailey, and Sebastian. This is the Reptile Rangers, and we are at the Kernersville Reptile Zoo. This has been a fun one to do. This class, again, not going to say who it is, but anyways, this class giving these questions, this is something fun for us to be able to interact with folks. Now, don't forget, anytime, any questions, if you want us to film about something, medical, housing, ecosystems, the zoo, or anything else, write us in, let us know. We're always doing the filming, as well as trying to give good education, whether through medical side or whether through just knowing the animals that we love so dearly. Now, we hope to see you here at the zoo, or we'll see you on the next episode. This is Chad again with the Reptile Rangers at the Kernersville Reptiles Zoo. We'll see you soon. Later.